When I first saw a new Malaysian game company called Metronomic promoting their game called No Straight Roads during Comic Fiesta 2018, I was genuinely interested in it. I fell in love with the game's concept and what they were trying to do for their first game. I started to follow along the development cycle, attended their talks, and tried out new demos that they showcased throughout local events in 2019. The hype build-up was real. My money was ready. My body was ready. I want to get my hands on the game and experience the hard work that they have put into it. Fast forward to the present day and the game is finally out on all major platforms, including PC as well. Was it worth the wait? Did the game meet my expectations? My name is Jerry and this is my honest review of No Straight Roads. No Straight Roads is a story about Mayday and Zook, a rock band who attended an audition in hopes to become part of NSR, a group of musical elites that focuses on EDM who is in charge of Vinyl City. Despite both Mayday and Zook performing their best, the duo was heavily rejected by NSR, especially their head honcho Tatiana, who mocked them for performing rock music instead of EDM, gleefully telling them,
"The age of rock is over. EDM rules this city."
Soon after the duo left, Vinyl City experienced a citywide blackout. However, only the NSR elites were receiving backup power, leaving the citizens with little to spare. This prompted both Mayday and Zook to fight back against NSR with the power of rock. No Straight Roads plays like an action game that attempts to incorporate rhythm-like mechanics. You play as either Mayday, who is a guitarist and a heavy hitter, while Zook is a drummer that focuses on combos but deal less damage. Enemies in the game follow the same rhythm of the music while you can move around freely. It sounds weird, but it makes sense since you're fighting against the rhythm in the first place. Some of the attacks can be parried if you time it right, or you can just roll away from it if you wish. You'll go through different levels with its own unique theme, eventually leading to the bosses themselves. They have their own set of gimmicks that serves to make the bosses unique. Throughout the game, you'll be exploring Vinyl City, which serves as a hub world collecting energy cans called Quasa that are used to operate lights and broken vending machines, rewarding you with fans. They are used to upgrade your skills that will be useful throughout your journey. The hub world also serves as a way to explore newer parts of the city after you defeat each boss that are activated through the use of the Platinum Disc. I'll talk more about it later. The graphics in No Straight Roads is pretty unique for what it's trying to achieve. Every single stage and bosses have their own distinct look, with themes that complement their music as well. It's very cartoonish, fun, though I wouldn't say memorable. During certain phases in a boss fight, the area surrounding them changes, signifying how strong these bosses are in making a name for themselves to be part of NSR. No Straight Roads music is definitely its strong point, with composers such as Falk, Andy Tunstall, Funk Fiction. They have done very well in creating their own masterpiece for the game. I liked how the music is focused heavily on the characters themselves and again makes it very unique to them. I wouldn't say that it's super memorable, but it's good enough to make me appreciate it a lot. For a game that I've waited and supported for about 2 years, I expected a somewhat decent result. However, I ended up finding so many issues in the game that should have been ironed out in the first place. First off, there are NPCs that you can interact with, however, they are rather inconsistent. Some of the NPCs have new dialogues as you go through newer districts, while others remain the same. All NPCs should have been treated equally by letting them tell the duo about their feelings regarding the change in Vinyl City. Aside from that, there are no meaningful interactable items either. In fact, they felt like actual placeholders for players to look at it for 5 seconds and ignore it for the rest of the game. For example, there's this one time where I activated this garage door only to see an empty room with an award about Popia. If it's supposed to be a gag or anything, it didn't work for me. Rather, it left me feeling very upset that all the hard work was for nothing. The bosses themselves do not have any kind of backstory to show to the players about who they are, the motivation behind their personality, and why they joined NSR. It's not there. It would have helped the world building a lot if these characters had their chance to shine. As for the technical side of things, I was one of the lucky ones to be able to experience the very annoying Steam VR bug that runs whenever I launched No Straight Roads. Both Steam VR and my VR headset were turned off, so I had no idea why this bug even occurred in the first place. Aside from that, the game does contain crowds to make the world look lively, but they look like something out of a horror film. I am not sure how this made it through the final build, but clearly it shouldn't. For a game that's showcasing a lot of amazing graphics and character designs, these crowds, they ruin everything. The game's camera felt very stiff for some reason and has acceleration to it. This applies to both mouse and controllers too. There's no way to turn this off, and it causes the camera to become very stiff to turn on a controller, while it spins like crazy if you're playing with mouse and keyboard. I tried my best to enjoy what is being offered in No Straight Roads, but the stages themselves are rather boring. Every single stage that is available in the game is just a copy-paste of each other without any meaningful changes to make them look unique. All of these stages follow the same formula. Run around a bit, beat some enemies, jump through some platforms, ride the rails that break through the security wall, rinse and repeat until you reach the boss entrance. What makes it rather sad is that it's just a loading screen when you reach the boss entrance. There are no super cool cutscenes where the protagonists enter the concert and really show that they want to hijack it. Just a loading screen. This was such a missed opportunity, as it would create a sense of flow to the character's journey overall. Another thing that bugged me was that the camera can't be adjusted while you're in these stages and are forced to follow the rules of the game. There were some parts where it's legitimately hard to time a jump on a platform due to the lack of depth perception. Going back to the hub world that I mentioned earlier, as much as I liked it, the whole design looked like a very long district instead of something that expands around Vinyl City. It's not fun to defeat a boss, unlock the level, run all the way to the end to start the next hijack, and do it again for about 6 to 7 times. A simple fast travel would have easily fixed this issue. I legitimately had fun looking at the design of the hub world overall, but going through it again and again made it feel like a chore to go through. These hub worlds could have been done in a way that makes Vinyl City look alive, instead of just being a long corridor district for some reason. Hey everyone, Editing Jerry here. I heard that there's actually fast travel in the game. I couldn't find it during my playthrough, and 2 of my friends who have played the game till the end couldn't find it either. So is it really our fault for not finding the fast travel system if the game didn't tell us explicitly how it works? It's up to you to decide. Throughout the game, you're able to upgrade your skills and abilities and even add stickers to improve some effects. However, these upgrades did very little to show its usefulness, and it's much easier to just ignore them as if they never existed in the first place. Upgrades are meant to provide players more options to use during gameplay, letting them feel that their hard work is worth the effort, but that did not happen during my playthrough. I only needed maybe 2 upgrades at most, while ignoring the rest of it. I think what caused this to happen was because there was a lack of enemy types in the game. There are security bots, flying camera bot, a rotating bot that punches you, a turret, and that's it really. If the upgrades in the game did not make me feel good, then it could have been better to not have it in the first place. These upgrades felt like it was added for the sake of having more stuff to do aside from just going through the game itself. Voice acting is something that can be very subjective to begin with. However, if I were to pinpoint the major issue with the voice acting, it is the voice direction itself. The voice direction in No Straight Roads is very inconsistent in more ways than one. For example, the voice acting for DJ Subatomic Supernova and Cliff were very spot on.
Your intellect is strikingly shallow, as everyone else's. What I'm saying is that you Plutonians are no longer relevant.
Yes. Sayu will be tricky to get close to, considering her form. But behind every creation is a creator.
While Yuno sounded poor in the beginning, but eventually became much better as the battle went on.
Talk big about music! But the only thing you guys seem to be good for is breaking stuff! I hate you all. I hate you all! I so hate you all!
I've seen comments on other reviews criticizing the English voice acting and pointing them towards using other languages, such as Japanese, which had high-profile voice actors. This is only sidestepping what is essentially a critical problem. If people are suggesting playing No Straight Roads in another language other than English, then it is clear that everyone involved with the voice acting should reflect back on the quality of the voice acting and see how it can be improved. They should strive to put a much better performance so that it matches up with the rest of the languages. I'm pretty sure that Malaysian voice actors are way better than this, and it should be a lesson to everyone, regardless of whether they are new or veterans in the voice acting industry. In conclusion, No Straight Roads is one of the most mediocre games I have ever played in 2020, despite being pretty hyped about the game. The game has great concept with great music and graphics, but is let down by lackluster gameplay mechanics and clear technical issues that should have been ironed out in the first place, with voice acting that is inconsistent across the board. The game is being too ambitious for what it wants to be and ends up falling on its foot. If everything was pulled back and focused on parts that are actually enjoyable, I would have easily recommended this. This may sound very harsh for a new company that has just started out, but the message that I'm trying to show here is very clear. Enough with this is good enough mentality. The game is already priced close to a AAA game on consoles, and to play such a mediocre game after spending a lot of money, that rubs people the wrong way. People will expect some sort of polish, but clearly that goal wasn't met. New and veteran game devs should really look at the game as a whole and think if it's really the best they can put out and show it to the world. They should strive to become better and prove that Malaysians can create an amazing game that will appeal to all walks of life no matter where they are in the world.